I have tasted perfection, and there's no going back. I've ridden hundreds of motorcycles for the show and for myself, but nothing has compared to what, you can see I'm just mounting the bike right here. Nothing has compared to what Toyota. That's how good it is. I immediately wanted to call this a Toyota. Nothing has come close to what Honda achieved in 1989. Modern bikes don't feel like this. Fort9 did an amazing video on the Honda PC800. That was one of the greatest motorcycle videos, and maybe I just farted, the greatest motorcycle video that I've ever seen. And I am going to constantly think about them as I stand in awe of the 600-pound piece of engineering brilliance. It is true that the engine in this is just an 800cc V-twin from a Honda Shadow, but that's it. Everything else on this motorcycle was made for this bike. It shares very little parts with anything else in the Honda line. Now, the whole point of the PC800 is to take everything that's unpleasant about the motorcycle experience and just get rid of it. There is no mechanical anything visible. I suppose the closest thing is right here. The closest thing that's mechanical visibly on a Honda Pacific Coast is the brake drum arm and what do you call that? The stabilizer bar? The thing that keeps it in place.
Yeah, the thingy.
The thingy. You know what I also love? I just saw this. They don't make you get a wrench. You can adjust the tightness of your rear drum with a wing nut. Instead of just putting a normal nut on there, they made a wing nut, but it looks unlike any other wing nut I've ever seen. It's probably Honda's own design right there. Also, here's your exhaust, right? We were just riding this. It's cool to the touch because it has the shroud on it, but it's just a normal V-twin. You don't have to put duals on a V-twin unless you're trying to own the liberals, layer down clippers. But over on the other side, Honda put this chrome panel here to, I guess, kind of simulate that there's another exhaust over here. Or maybe for symmetry. So, anyway, how does this thing ride? Fort9 says this rides like a car. Now, as much as I love that channel, I'm going to disagree with that. This motorcycle rides like a motorcycle. And I say that because I have ridden a Goldwing. A Goldwing rides like a car. That is a huge, expensive, $20,000 plus engineering marvel. This is more of an artistic expression. Yes, it is very, very smooth compared to any other motorcycle you've ever ridden. But it does feel like a bike. Yes, it is 600 pounds, but you can still manhandle it. Now, I'm not going anywhere near the point of no return. I'm not going to dump Kit's bike. Oh, and by the way, this very PC800, I was looking at on Facebook Marketplace. I was telling my friends, I should really get this. And then one day later, Kit, the person behind the camera, messages me and says that she bought the very bike. When I got on this bike, I'm like, oh, great, Honda, it's smooth. But you're saying this can be even smoother than it is.
Yeah, it's not running quite right. The engine is supposed to be dead smooth on this, and you can feel it quite a bit. I think the carburetors need to be synchronized and it needs spark plugs. It definitely needs a tune-up. It doesn't sound like anybody's done one in 15 or 20 years.
Which is weird because I rode this and her definition of not smooth is my definition of perfect because I love single-cylinder thumpers. So that's my base. That is the ruler of which I judge all motorcycles because I love one-lungers. I get on this, I'm like, oh, it's smooth. And I'm like, oh, there's a little bit of burbling going on at low RPM. And my first thought is, oh, it's a V-twin. It should be making that. But you say, no, this thing shouldn't even do
No,
that.
the engine is not mounted to the frame anywhere without rubber.
Ah.
Like, you should not be able to feel it.
Speaking of engine, yeah, I can't.
It's in there somewhere. If I knew how to take all the panels off, I would, but I don't yet. So.
But we can take the oil.
Yes, and the other one off.
Dipstick.
So this one, and I know how to get the other one off too.
So there's the oil dipstick. Okay, there's your gearbox, and the V's are going to be there. Center stand, easy. Raise the bike until you feel the second leg go down. Pull up. That happens.
So this
Is there a
panel.
porta potty here? Can I check to see if I didn't actually shit my pants doing that? 80s plastic.
Yeah, so just get the back out first. It's quite bendy. There
Okay.
you go.
All right, so I got my breather hoses. I see the connection for my drive shaft, or your drive shaft. There's a banjo bolt there doing something. Oil?
I think that's fuel. I think that's the vacuum petcock.
Ah.
Because it shuts off the fuel for you, so you don't even have to turn that on and off.
No more doing that thing where I would start riding a bike, get to the end of my street. Oh, right, fuel on. This is an aftermarket seat. It's a Corbin seat. And there's a little backrest there for the passenger. And so far, you don't know what this does.
No, I haven't gone and looked at the manual yet.
My first thought would be, does it move something in and out or up and down? But no. Is there supposed to be something under the seat?
Maybe. I thought it maybe moved this piece forward and back, but it doesn't seem to do that.
Nice. So this was, okay, some previous owner stuff. It looks like they wanted to go through here and realized that didn't work, or maybe they were unhappy with that hole, and then they drilled another one.
That's where the toolkit sat, that little spot there,
Ah.
which I am missing. If anybody has one, let me know.
And full face helmets are supposed to fit in this, right?
I put mine in the left side because it's an extra large.
All
We
right.
can go get both of them and put them in there. So this just goes in.
Okay. Huh. Oh my goodness. I'm going to close it very gently.
I can fit my helmet and all my riding gear in the back, in the trunk when I park.
Fort 9 knows I'm making a video similar to theirs, so they sent the Canadian Air Force over here to do a flyby. I think the loudest thing I hear on this bike is the valve train. That's it, just... Yeah, I know, I'm making a video similar to yours. You don't have to do a second flyby, Canada. I love the Snowbirds too. They're a great aerial demonstration team. Literally, there's two Canadian geese that separated from the V. Love you, Canada. That's all the bigger the exhaust is. It's like the exhaust pipe on a PC800 is the size of my thumb. I'm literally covering the exhaust.
I think I might have an exhaust tube. Oh, maybe not.
Yummy. Oh, for f***'s sake, Brian. Ugh. All the way out here and you forgot to put your... Helmet strap. This is what I hate about trying to film without a crew. I always forget like the dumbest stuff in the world. And here I am like a complete asshole riding about, and of course the light ahead turns green. Of course. Don't have a chance to put my strap back on. And I'm gonna be here flopping around like I don't know how to ride a bike because I forgot to put my goddamn strap on. You dumb YouTuber, you can't do anything right. The gear shifter on a Honda Goldwing is very typewriter-esque or keyboard. It's very, very light, very clicky. This is not. This is a traditional cruiser or standard style shifter that, you know, click, 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 clank, clank. Oh, where's neutral? Oh, it doesn't want first. Oh, it wants first now. So all your classic like 80s and 90s style motorcycle habits where you can't really trust you're in neutral, you can't really trust you're in first gear. You got to do that thing where you rock back and forth a little bit to move the gears around inside the transmission to make sure you're going. You have to do that as well. All right, double checking there's no one behind me to do our classic money shot. Working very well. Yellow light in front of me. I'm gonna duck right behind the Kia. There we go. Nice and flickable. Wow, very nice and flickable. Probably down to these narrower tires, or rather normal size tires for the 80s and 90s, but narrow by today's standards. There's a very small contact patch below me by today's standards, which makes the bike very danceable left and right. Ooh, I like it. It of course has the fancy kind of anti-diving suspension in the front, but when you hit potholes like I did just there, maybe I'll aim for another pothole, it does feel very much like a motorcycle. And when you get up into the higher registries, well, it is an overhead cam. Is it an overhead cam? Is this an overhead cam V-twin? Or is this a push rod? You know, because it's Honda, I have a very hard time figuring that out. Because it's so smooth and all you hear is valve train noise, which is normally what you hear on an 80s and 90s style bike. All right, my mood is improving now that my strap is on. Maybe that's like an autism thing or a perfectionism thing, even though I know Regular Car Reviews isn't a very perfectionist program. Or maybe because I don't really care if I'm not a bad driver, because I'm not a very good driver. I'm terrible on a track. But when it comes time to being a good motorcyclist, I care more about that than I really do about my driving. Because I got into motorcycles before I got into cars. A car was just a vehicle that took my wheels and tires to the motorcycle shop, so I didn't have to pay full price to get new tires on, because they didn't have to pay the shop price for lifting the bike up, putting the bike on the stand, taking the wheel on. I'll do that. I'll align my own rear tire. You guys just put it on the machine and put my wheels and tires on. That's it. Okay, here's a pothole. Ba-blunk, ba-blunk. Yeah, even though it has the fancy anti-dive stuff for the front suspension, which is really also based on the anti-dive for the brakes, when you hit potholes and bumps on the Pacific Coast, it just feels like a normal motorcycle.
What was here?
I have no idea.
Awesome.
Is this glass? Or is this plastic? That feels like plastic.